My name is Heather, and I have here that you're Samantha, right?
Yes, I am.
What would you prefer I call you?
Samantha's fine.
Samantha's fine, okay. Are you comfortable? How was the drive here? Did you have trouble parking or anything?
No, I'm good. Me either.
Okay. Did you find a spot okay?
Yeah.
I know with our parking lot, it's always hard for people to be able to find that spot.
Yeah.
And so I'm here to talk about, I'm with First Step at Lakeview, and we are an alcohol and drug treatment facility that's designed to help people with drug and alcohol addiction. I'm understanding that you're here for your daughter, Amanda, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And why don't you tell me a little bit about Amanda?
Well, Amanda's 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd say I raised her pretty well. I come from like a middle class family. But, you know, my mother, she set me off when I was 18, and so I did the same thing for her. But she's recently gotten really deeply into drugs. In high school, I know she was into marijuana, and started dating this boy who I think was really into more, like, was into more drugs than that. And, you know, every time I'd take it away and I'd run under, and she'd always seem to, you know, she doesn't look like a little scoundrel kind of, you know. So I didn't do anything that I just figured, you know, maybe it's a high school thing, because I know, you know, when we were younger, when I was younger, that it was okay, you know, it was okay. So, but it's gotten to a point now that she's doing meth, and the boy that she was with in high school, she married, and now he's left. He's been gone for about a month now, and they have a 3-year-old daughter, and my daughter is out. She's out with my daughter. My daughter's, I know she's doing meth, and I don't know if she's doing other things like selling it or, you know, but I know that she's doing it, and I think my granddaughter could be surrounded by all of that. So
Yeah, and that's definitely a concern of us, is the safety, you know, of children that are involved with drug addicted parents. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the services that we offer here at First Step at Lakeview. And we'll just kind of work through which ones we feel might suit your daughter back to her abilities. Let's start with, has she ever been in any drug treatments before?
she was in an outpatient care, but it just didn't really work out where she's back on it, and
Yeah, that happens a lot of times with the outpatient, and it's more of an environmental thing than if she was in a, you know, an all-inclusive like facility where she's receiving treatment. And that's what First Step at Lakeview is definitely a facility where patients can come in and get that, you know, full treatment and all that kind of stuff, and don't have to worry about the environment and all that. And so for your daughter, we'd start out with what is called a social detox. And it's a supervised non-medical detoxification. We kind of believe that it's important when you're coming off of the drug or alcohol or whatever, that you're not medically starting to become dependent on something else. And so that's where we offer the non-medical detox. And it's just that she'll experience the withdrawals, and would help her through that. And that's just it's a very much supervised like support. And that normally lasts about 2 to 3 days. And after the 2 to 3 days, then we move on to a different step in the process. And so that's where, you know, with outpatient, it's so hard because, you know, they're experiencing this and they just still have to go along with their daily lives and, you know, work and school and all that kind of stuff. And it's harder that way. So when they're fully in a facility, then it's a lot easier for them. And then after those 2 to 3 days, does she have a job or anything at the moment?
She got fired from her job.
Okay. And so that's also very important to which step of the treatment is next. After the social detox, the last 2 to 3 days, it's either the intensive short-term residential or like the extended residential. And I would probably suggest for your daughter the intensive short-term residential, treatment, and that normally lasts about 3 to 4 weeks of just the intensive 40 hours of therapeutical recovery-oriented activities a week. And so that's in a group therapy setting, like understanding the causes of why she is choosing to do meth and why she is experiencing all these emotional attachments and detachments and from this drug, and that's what we work on to help her understand those. And like I said, that's about 3 to 4 weeks, and it's also kind of just dependent on like if they're medically like necessary, and like if she's having these withdrawals and not having like the psychotic breaks or something. That happens to a lot of our clients is when they realize they come off of this and they're so dependent on it. They have a lot of trouble, and so it's like if she doesn't have any outside medical needs, then or any other individual needs, then she's normally reintegrated into the community. And that's, of course, one of our main steps is to have full community reintegration, is can they function in community again? And so that's definitely what we work hard for. And if the intensive short care treatment, residential treatment doesn't work, we have something like the extended residential. And that's more like 10 hours of therapeutical service and structured recovery-oriented weekly activities. And so that's prior to the treatment experience. And so that would be more like if the social detox doesn't come off correctly, like if she's having a lot harder time than first thought, then we would do the extended residential and then the intensive short-term residential. And so it's kind of either a 2 or a 3-step process is that we work on. And then we go something called the intensive outpatient with supportive housing. Where does your daughter live? Does she live in an apartment? Does she have her own house?
She has her own house, but it's in a very poor, bad neighborhood. It's not very safe.
So the low-income housing?
Yes.
Okay. Is she on any kind of food stamps or Medicaid or?
I believe she's on Medicaid. But I give her money every month for food.
So not the food stamps. And a lot of times that's something that we work with. You said that she didn't have a job, and so how is she going to be able to manage her money and that kind of stuff? And so we do provide, we start to help them look for those different services that are out there. Like we focus on getting her that employment job that she needs to be able to make money for her and her daughter. And, the safe housing, that where is a safe place for her and her daughter to be at, where she's not around all these different people that are, kind of like an environmental threat to her, like it's just is always around it. And so it's definitely something that we work on. And then also just an ongoing access to the community services that we provide for them. And it's just the fact that when she does feel like when she is discharged, that she feels like she's able to come back to us. If she is experiencing some trouble or something, that she's able to be like, I need help with this, and so can you help me? And then I know that you said that she had a 3-year-old daughter, and that's something that's what keeps a lot of women from doing residential treatment is their children. They here at First Step at Lakeview, we do allow children to stay with their parents. And I know that as long as they're 10 years and younger, you said that her daughter was 3, and so that'll be completely fine. So that way it's not burdensome to her daughter being like, where is my daughter at, instead of not having to have you watch your daughter all the time. It's a lot more peace of mind for them, especially to be able to be like, okay, she can be here with me. And it's just, they will navigate like the joys and the challenges of, presenting life without substance abuse. And it's like, her daughter will, her daughter will not be around her when she's having those really rough days, and that she's struggling. And that's something that we don't ever want the child to see, is see their mother struggling with this addiction. And so we do work really hard with providing the the acceptable times that she's able to see her mom. Do you have any other questions?
I don't know if you know this or not, but has this proven like really great success, or I just don't want my daughter to, not follow through and be able to kind of go through something again, or something happens to my granddaughter or even my daughter.
Yeah. And see, that's something that is very I ask a lot. It's like, what is the, expectancy rate or something of community re-involvement in something, and it varies from person to person. It's how committed is the person to drug and alcohol rehabilitation. Is this court ordered for your daughter, or is this voluntary?
I want my daughter to seek this help.
Okay, and so has your daughter came to you and asked for help with this?
She's not.
Okay, and I guess my question would be, do you think she will be willing to be able to come to this treatment facility? Has she expressed, Mom, I wish I could get off of this?
Every once in a while, but it's not like, it was very early on, and, we tried outpatient, and it just.
And see, and that's something, since she has had this transition with outpatient before, it is something that she is familiar with. She's familiar with the steps and that. And something that will be different from her here at Lakeview is that it's something completely different from her. It's not I'm here for you between 8 and 5. I'm here for Lakeview, First Step at Lakeview is here for you anytime that you need us to be. And that's something that really helps with the reintegration rate, and the fact that, we are very successful in the fact that, they may leave here completely clean and all that kind of stuff, and then if they're not able to do that after 3 or 4 weeks, then they can stay longer. And that's something that we're completely fine with, and that it's not a problem. And I know that you mentioned earlier that your daughter was on Medicaid, and so that's something that a lot of times we get asked is, how are we going to pay for this? And our treatment is, is not something that should keep our clients from being able to seek this treatment. Is how am I going to pay for this? And since she is on Medicaid, our services are funded through Medicaid, and so she'd be fine with that. The state of Kansas reimburses those who can't afford the treatment, and so some insurance companies cover. And since I know you said that she didn't have a job, so she probably doesn't have insurance. Does she have insurance? Not that you're aware of.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I understand that, and so that necessarily wouldn't be something we'd worry about right now. But our first step is to get her willing to be able to come to treatment, and so that's something that we're definitely going to want to be able to work with her with, is how willing is she to come into our treatment facility and seek the help that she needs. And also a lot of times our clients are worried about confidentiality. Is I don't want my friends to know where I'm at. And a lot of times that's hard with our residential treatment facilities. It's this fact that you're gone from your friends for 5 weeks, 6 weeks at a time, and they start to wonder, where are you, And if it's something that you're not comfortable with telling, then it's going to be hard. But of course, we say nothing to anybody, We keep everything very confidential as to who is here and who's not. And after your daughter is committed in the facility, even you sometimes will not be able to access how she's doing and all that kind of stuff. It's completely voluntary to her. And so I know that you're very concerned and very active in your daughter's life, but since it's not court ordered and it's voluntary, then it's completely up to her on who sees what. And so that's just something that, you can tell her that, that I can't be buddy and not everything. And so that's something that she's definitely worried about. That's something that we completely take responsibility in, is that we are very confidential in what treatment she's doing, how she's functioning, and all that kind of stuff. And it's something that we really pride ourselves in, is our confidentiality of our clients. Do you have any other questions?
Do you have any recommendations on how I should maybe bring this up to her? Or I'm just gonna kind of talk to her, but I know that there's a really high chance she will refuse any help, and I don't want anything bad to happen, and I feel like we're on the verge of that.
Mm-hmm. So. A lot of times it's just getting your daughter to admit that she does have a problem. Not coming over and catching her in the act. It's just the fact that sitting her down and saying, I understand that, your granddaughter's there and all that kind of stuff, but just making her realize what is important for her. And that it is the fact that she doesn't have a job and that she needs to be able to provide for her daughter. I don't know if there's been any complaints filed against, like, like maltreatment of a child or anything like that. And so it's just the fact that we want to be able to tell her that she needs to start, she wants to look out for her daughter. And so that's something that we always, start with, is that we want to make sure that they know they have clear goals and that they make goals of what they have. And like, one of your daughter's strengths definitely is that the fact that she does have a daughter. And that's something that probably is her world or something. Is her daughter? Is she very close with her daughter?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, so that's definitely a strength of her, that she's, she is a good mom. She does want her daughter to, probably see her do this and stuff. And so it's something that we definitely work with, is the fact that we work hard for making her be like, okay, I want to be clean for my daughter. And so that's just something that a lot of times, if that hasn't ever been brought up, by a court or an arrest or something, that, it's just saying that you know of this and that it's probably best that she does. And since she has been in outpatient treatment before, it's obvious that, she is using and stuff. And so it's just suggesting that, okay, you tried this, well, how about we try this? And so that's something that we definitely work with. And so, so the next step will definitely be actually getting your daughter in here to us. And we'll be going over, her evaluation of everything and how she feels about it, and just kind of we'll work with the next steps on her progress, and when's a good time for her to be able to come in here and do this. And so that's would definitely be the next step that we will work with, is actually getting your daughter into this treatment facility and making an appointment in that. And so I have a card that I will give you, and we'll keep in contact. And whenever your daughter is ready to come in, we'll set up an interview, and we will just go from there. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds great to me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.